What's up, Miles and CMF? Kerry, good to see you. How you doing, brother? How you been? Kamal, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? Joe, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Kumatus, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Joe Zempo, good to see you as well. Evening, how you doing? How you been? Is that heck of a Federal Reserve System real? Is that heck of a Federal Reserve System real? Elaborate. Kerry, elaborate on that. Do you think we'll see more down? Possibility, yes, and I'll tell you why. On this live show, I'll tell you why. Good evening, Brother Miles and CMF crew. Let's go, funky brother. How you doing, Sec? How you been? Hi, Miles. Messi, good to see you. How you doing? Hit the like. Let's go, Messi. Anything bullish today, Brother Miles? Yes, we do. We have a mixture of news to go through. We have informative news to go through. We have news regarding why the market is on a downtrend. Mostly just manipulations and empty gawk situations. But we have a mixture of news to go through on tonight's live show. So by the time everyone tunes in, we will do a gist of what we're going to go through on tonight's live show. And then we'll do the intro, disclaimer, comment section, and first news by the time everyone's probably tuned in for the first part. So, on tonight's live show, we are going to go through Robert's perspective on the market space right now. Then we're going to be going through Tether and some news regarding Tether essentially not minting any more tokens on two particular chains. Then we're going to be talking about Japan in terms of the market play over there, in terms of one company. We're also going to be talking about the innovation over speculation from Justin Sun's roadmap for crypto future. We're also going to be talking about MT Gox, which is the crypto exchange that was compromised many years ago and has now decided to actually start paying people back. Reason why the market's taken a slight dump as well. We're also going to be talking about MicroStrategy on tonight's live show as well, how MicroStrategy is also influencing this price drop. We're also going to be talking about on tonight's live show regarding the Bitcoin Lightning Network hacker that essentially has came out and launched something new. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding Tommy Lee, how Tom Lee reveals a rationale behind Bitcoin's price prediction. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding Botswana, Zambia, and ACH. As I said previously, Africa is becoming the new hotspot for crypto projects, essentially, or crypto platforms to go over to Africa. For quite a while, the Middle East was the place to develop, and it still is. But Africa is climbing the ranks in terms of blockchain technology and AI innovation, and a lot of platforms are going over there to sign partnerships. We're also going to talk about the European Central Bank on tonight's live show as well, the progress so far. They've came out with a report. We're going to be talking about Louisiana on tonight's live show as well regarding their crypto bills. We're going to be talking about also on tonight's live show regarding Trump and what he's going to be doing inside the crypto space. We're also going to be talking about Sleepy Joe on tonight's live show as well and what he's going to be providing for the crypto space. We're also going to be talking about the Deutsche Bank. The Deutsche Bank has came out and said that they're back together with a particular crypto project, which we rarely talk about on this live show. We're also going to be talking about Thailand on tonight's live show and regarding Ripple, XRP, and the talks so far they've had. Now, a mixture of news to go through on tonight's live show regarding XRP and Ripple, regarding Deutsche Bank, regarding perspectives from Sleepy Joe, perspectives from Trump on the market spaces, perspectives from quite a lot of people on the market spaces, and Louisiana news to go through essentially on regarding their crypto bills, the European Central Bank CBDC news to go through the progress so far. They've came out with a report. We're going to be talking about Africa on tonight's live show as well. A lot of things happening in terms of blockchain over there. We're going to talk about Tom Lee's perspective. So quite a lot of perspective, knowledge news to go through, partnership news to go through, collaboration news to go through, contract news to go through, CBDC news to go through, mixture of news on tonight's live show. So, if you are watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF live show. On this live show, I go through recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, regulations, politics. Everything that intertwines together and essentially vital information for you to know going inside of a digital world. The disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. And we also do Q&As on this live show as well, which means if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Now, the live show has officially started now. So if you are new, welcome to the CMF live show. If you're regular, let's go CMF. Now, before we go through the first news, which is regarding Robert, we're going to go through the comment section first, and then we'll go for the first news. What else? Good to see you, brother. How you doing? What else? I replied back to you as well. There was news that the Federal Reserve was hacked by a ransom group. Well, rumors or news? Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? Evening Miles of CMF. Manny, good to see you. How you doing? They supposedly stole 32 terabytes of sensitive information. Kerry, could you verify the source? Is it a rumor or is it actual news? Hi, Miles. I know you. Let us know what's going on. Let's go vibe. Good evening, Miles and all CMF. Free and forever. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you doing? Lena, good to see you as well. How you doing? Lena, I'm getting pretty much done regarding helping you. I haven't forgotten, Lena, to help you out regarding crypto.com. I'm still doing the PDF and I'm going to release it hopefully by tomorrow, the day after. But I haven't forgotten. I'm still doing it. Don't worry. Hi, Miles and all CMF. A big shout out to Camel, Sack. He's back on the live tonight. Let's go, Sack. Hey, Miles and CMF. Solomon, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, Robert is the first news to go through on tonight's live show. We're going to go through his perspective. Crap. You know what's interesting? Is that there we go. My window is open and no, never mind. Okay, so Robert. The first news to go from tonight's live show is Robert. Robert, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, recently spoke about Bitcoin's downturn, advising people. By the way, this is not financial advice. This is just me sharing the news. So Robert, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, someone that essentially advocates for Bitcoin for quite a while right now. He keeps on saying buy Bitcoin, buy gold, and this and that. This is his perspective. Rich Dad Poor Dad, the author, recently spoke about Bitcoin's downtrend and advising people to sell Bitcoin. Now, in a post on X, Robert, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Bitcoin is crashing. Most people should sell. However, he mentioned his intentions to buy more Bitcoin despite the current crash. Robert explained the problem that many people fail to understand trading, pointing out that they aim to buy low and hopefully sell high. He said trading due to the short-term capital gains taxes and advocated instead for long-term buy and hold strategies, similar to Warren Buffett. His approach. Robert essentially went on to say he emphasized his focus on building new assets rather than trading. He describes himself as a serial entrepreneur and currently working on 2 new startups. He encouraged individuals afraid of the market crashes to sell and keep their employment, emphasizing the contrasting mindsets of entrepreneurs and employees. Robert's message concluded with a warning of rough times ahead and a call for individuals to make decisions best suited to their circumstances. It is true. I said to everybody, I put it a while ago, actually, I said to everyone, for part 2, you've got to have kahunas for part 2 is what I did say. And we are in, the brewing of part 2, essentially. And what Robert said is pretty much correct. I would have to agree. Again, not financial advice from Robert or me, just sharing the news. But yeah, if you are in panic mode in some sort of a way, then you shouldn't be in the market space in the first place. You shouldn't be in any market space in the first place if you're in panic mode or you're letting your emotions control your actions right now inside the market space. Now, I also put some gestures of words inside the CMF Telegram group as well to let everybody know that don't worry, you're still on the right path. But yeah, what Robert has basically said, if you're in panic mode, then you should be nowhere near the market space and sell and jump out essentially. But I wouldn't recommend that in any sort of a way. Now, Tether discontinues support for USDT, minting on EOS and Algorand. Tether has decided to end their relationship essentially with Algorand and EOS. Tether, the issuer of the world's most widely used stablecoin, USDT, has announced that it would discontinue support for EOS and Algorand. According to the announcement, Tether will cease minting any more new tokens on these two blockchains starting today. However, the company has assured that USDT's redemptions on EOS and Algorand will continue for the next 12 months. If you are doing transactions on USDT that's on the Algorand chain or on EOS for about 12 months, they'll still work. After that, not so much. Giving users ample time to adjust to the changes, Tether to streamline its operations. This strategic move reflects Tether's ongoing efforts to streamline its operations and focus on the platforms with higher demand and broader adoption. While EOS and Algorand have their dedicated user bases, the decision to halt USDT minings and mintings on these platforms likely stems from a combination of factors including user activity levels, market demand, and operational considerations. Tether's managements have been clear that their goal is to optimize their performance and efficiency of USDT across the most impactful blockchains networks out there. Despite the cessation of the new USDT issuance, Tether is committed to ensuring a smooth transition for its users. Notably, Tether's decision comes when the stablecoin market is experiencing rapid growth and evolution, essentially. The company continues to dominate the stablecoin sector, with USDT playing a critical role in trading remittances and a store of value. Right now, stablecoins are playing one of the biggest roles out there because for anybody that is selling, they're going straight, obviously, towards stablecoins. So far, the Tether USDT has been listed on over 10 networks, including Ethereum, Celo, Caver, Cosmos, Solana, Liquid Network, Tron, Avalanche, Near, and Ton. These will remain, but those two will be dropped. Now, the next news on tonight's live show is regarding Japan's MicroStrategy. Now, what it essentially means by that is there's a company in Japan that follows the footsteps of essentially MicroStrategy. That company in Japan is called MetaPlanet, and they follow the exact same blueprints that MicroStrategy has left behind, which is back their company's assets with Bitcoin. And we're going to go through that news on what that company is doing right now with the market prices like this. But before we go through that news, let's go to the comment section first. Hi Miles and all CMF. A big shout out to Camel's. He's back on the live. Solomon, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Orphan, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Stormy, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Cheers, Miles. Hopefully, I will be able to get back on the live show. I will definitely be back from July 26th. Let's go, Woodhouse. So, Japan. Japan's MicroStrategy pops 9% after announcing the $6.2 million bond sale to buy Bitcoin. While the market prices are down like this, a particular company in Japan who follows the exact same footsteps as MicroStrategy, backing their company's assets with Bitcoin, is selling their bonds to buy more Bitcoin while the prices are down like this. They're going to be buying roughly $6.2 million, which is about 1 billion yen. So Bitcoin's recent pullback has yet to shake the faith of the MetaPlanet, the public Japanese firm that went all in on BTC starting in April, which I shared the news on April. The firm announced late Sunday that it will be issuing another 1 billion yen, worth about $6.2 million, in ordinary bonds, the proceeds of which will be used to purchase more Bitcoin as the prices are down like this. At today's price, that would secure the company roughly 101 additional Bitcoins for its balance sheet, adding to its 141 BTC total as its latest purchase. Japan has the highest debt to GDP ratio in the world. Ongoing financial repercussions is the result, wrote by Dylan, MetaPlanet's director of Bitcoin strategy, to Twitter. He said, MetaPlanet's aim is to provide Japanese and international investors alike exposure to Bitcoin supercharged by Japanese capital markets. He tweeted this out today. By the end of trading on Monday, MetaPlanet's stock on the Tokyo Stock Exchange surged 9.2% to a 95 JPY apiece. That puts it at a 400% over its trading price on April 8th. The new day before the company held Bitcoin as its new core treasury reserve asset. So, while the markets are down like this, in these types of prices, Japan's company MetaPlanet, that's backing their entire company with Bitcoin, they haven't lost faith in any sort of a way. They are acquiring about $6.2 million worth of Bitcoin. They're selling other assets to acquire more Bitcoin. And because of that news, this particular company in Japan on the public stock exchange rose in value because of going towards Bitcoin while Bitcoin is down. Imagine that one. Formerly focused on real estate and Web3 and investing, Metaplanet's latest Bitcoin strategy is remarkable and simple. Issue debt and shares to buy more Bitcoin and hopefully watch its value rise over time. The latest bonds carry an annual interest rate of 0.5%, far lower than Bitcoin's compound annual growth rate of 59% over the past 10 years. The redemption date for the bonds is June 2025. Through their investors cannot call the bond within the first 3 months of the purchase. Essentially speaking to Decrypt in May, Metaplanet said that it especially intends to emulate MicroStrategy, the world's largest corporate Bitcoin holder, which has accumulated 226,000 plus BTCs, about $13.7 billion worth of BTC, using the company's profits and massive convertible bond sales. We plan to continue buying Bitcoin no matter the short-term exchange rate fluctuations, given the asset absolute scarcity, a stark contrast to the reality of weakening political currencies, Metaplanet said at that time, and it's still sticking to its words. The German government is also starting to dump its seized Bitcoin. Well, that part is rumor, but what isn't a rumor is this part. Mt. Gox's bankruptcy estate is now due to bring $9 billion worth of long dormant BTC back to the markets months. Now, the speculation of the German essentially government dropping their BTC in the markets, that is going around. It's been going around for a few days now. But what is actually on paper is what's going to be happening from Mt. Gox, which we're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. But before we go through that, we're going to go through the news regarding a perspective from Justin Sun on the market space right now and the future roadmap of cryptocurrencies. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you. How you doing? Mike, good to see you. How you doing? Evening, Miles and family. Busy. Let's go in. So, innovation over speculation. Justin Sun's roadmap for crypto future. Tron founder Justin Sun recently urged the crypto community on X to prioritize innovation and long-term progress over short-term plus price fluctuations and the volatility cryptocurrency markets, which I agree with. Focus on long-term progress instead of short-term, especially now with all the corporates and the banks and the regulations. Let's stay focused on innovation and progress, ignore the price fluctuations, and continue to build for the future. Remember, the price will ultimately reflect the value we create through our efforts. The price he's talking about in terms of value is the utilities of those projects. Justin Sun asserts that the innovation and progress should be primary focus for anyone involved in cryptocurrencies and blockchain space. What he's basically saying is, right now, especially right now, as I've said previously, there are more banks inside the crypto space, more corporates inside the crypto space, more ETFs in different types of jurisdictions, more regulations headed our way. A lot of things happening from the corporate sector. I've said this for a while now. Focus on utility is what you should be doing. These banks, these corporations, and these regulations are going to benefit utility projects, not camel token or frog token or cat token. They're not going to be benefiting any of those. The retail section will benefit from those for a while. But once the fun is over, the avenue streams of money is going to be going towards utility projects, because banks and corporations and regulations are coming to benefit utility projects, which I've been saying essentially for a while now. And then you have Justin Sun coming out with this tweet today, which is basically, Sun asserts that innovation and progress should be primary focus for anyone involved in cryptocurrencies and the blockchain space now. He believes that continuous developments and advancements in the technology and services are essential for the long-term success of the industry. By prioritizing these aspects, individuals and organizations can create value or valuable and essentially sustainable solutions, which is basically him tweeting out, let's stay focused on innovation and progress, ignore the price fluctuations, and continue to build for the future. Remember, the price will ultimately reflect the value we create through our efforts. What we should be doing right now is focus on utility. Right now, with these prices, the only thing I will be aiming for with these types of prices is utility projects. A lot of people inside the crypto space will tell you, forget about utility, it's all about making a quick buck. No, it isn't. A child will tell you it's about making a quick buck. An adult who understands how the market space works, who understands the banks are coming in, which a lot of them are already in, there's so many contracts about, or somebody that understands that there's too many corporations in play right now, too many regulations coming in. The EU is getting readier day by day to come with regulations. So somebody who understands the market space will tell you, no, They're coming in for utility. They're not coming in for cat token and frog token and camel token. So, utility. Right now, these prices, this was, a great opportunity. If you so far have been so focused on camel token and frog token, this is your second chance to revive your portfolios with utility projects, because what's happening next is more regulations. What's happening next is basically the EU essentially regulations, the political sides of essentially Trump and Sleepy Joe. The regulations coming in from America, regulations coming from Canada, regulations coming from the UK, regulations coming from Australia, Japan, Brazil, China. That's what's happening next. More corporates, more regulations are coming in. And all those contracts that happened a while ago inside the crypto space, every time you heard on the news, this crypto project essentially partnered with this bank, but then nothing happened on the price point. All of those contracts that happened years ago, yeah, they went into development mode and they're getting ready to launch. Those contracts that you kept on hearing on the news, Ripple partners with this bank, and then the price never moved. One, because of the case. But two, those contracts were in development mode. They're getting ready to coming out. More banks, more regulations, essentially more corporations are in play right now. This is your chance for utility projects. So your choice. Want to focus on camel token and hope for the best? Or do you want to put your focus on where it matters inside the market space, which is the banks, the corporations, the regulations? And the question is, how can I benefit from the banks, the corporations, and the regulations? Is the question you should be asking yourself. How can I benefit from these three factors coming into play? Not go against the banks or go against the regulations or go against essentially the corporations, because that is a losing battle. We should be asking yourself is, how can I benefit from the banks coming in? How can I benefit from the regulations coming in? How can I benefit from the corporations coming in right now? And how you can benefit is utility. How you can tell which project is chosen? Contracts. They will tell you more than you need to know. Look at their contracts. Who they're working with is what you should be checking in for right now. So, MT Gox is the next news we're going to go through on tonight's live show. MT Gox trustee announces definite date for Bitcoin and BCH repayments. MT Gox was essentially a crypto exchange that went quite south for a very long time, and it was essentially compromised, and then they decided to pay back everybody. It took years for them to get to a stage where they pay back everybody. Now, MT Gox is actually getting ready up to a certain stage to start repaying everyone. And because this news is spreading around inside the crypto space right now, there is the speculation that prices will come down, which they will, which will create a better buying opportunity as well. Now, MT Gox, essentially, Bitcoin BTC has encountered a price performance issue right now in the past month, struggling to surpass previous record levels. However, the situation may worsen as the trustee overseeing the defunct, essentially, Bitcoin exchange MT Gox has revealed the definite date of commencing Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash BCH repayments to affected customers. Now, just to put in perspective, MT Gox has essentially came out quite sometimes. They come out randomly and they say, yes, we're getting ready to repay everybody, and then the news disappears. And then they come out again and say, yes, we're getting ready to repay everybody, and then they disappear from the news again. But they've came back into the scene now. So this announcement has raised concerns about the possible contribution of these customers to ongoing selling pressure in the BTC market. If they start repaying back everybody, it's quite a lot of Bitcoin, most likely that people might sell. MT Gox trustee prepares for redemption. In a recent announcement on June 24th, the MT Gox trustee and repatriation debitor revealed that the preparations for Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash repayments have been underway as a part of the paying back plan. With these preparations completed, the trustee will initiate repayments to cryptocurrency exchanges with which the necessary information has been exchanged and confirmed. Reportedly, the repayment process is set to begin in July 2024, next month. Next month, apparently, MT Gox is going to be paying back everybody. Slowly, but starting next month. If they do that, most likely those people could sell, which will drag down prices even more for Bitcoin, possibly. So, the trustee claims that this has sent apples in terms of ensuring safe and reliable payments to creditors, including implementing technical measures for secure transactions, complying with financial regulators in various jurisdictions, and discussing repayment arrangements with the cryptocurrency exchanges expected to be involved in the process. Repayments will be made in order for completion of the exchange and confirmation of the required information with the exchanges involved. Creditors will also have been advised to be patient during the repayment process. It is worth noting that similar price drop has occurred in May when the news broke out about Mt. initiating repayments to affected customers. This is what I said regarding Mt. once came out and twice and three times, about 4 or 5 times. Mt. has came out multiple times essentially and said, we're getting ready to repay everyone. They do this pretty much every year, once or twice. They come out and say, we're getting ready to repay everyone, and the market reacts and comes down. So is it going to be for real this time when Mt. actually comes out and says, we're going to start repaying everyone? Because, it is worth noting that a similar price drop occurred in May when the news broke out about Mt. initiating repayments to affected customers. The development caused BTC to plummet from its peak of $70,600 to below 68,000 levels, preventing the cryptocurrency from resetting its all-time highs of 73,700 in mid-March. The total of the amount of Bitcoin to be released remains uncertain, with an estimated ranging from 142,000 BTC. It's supposed to be repaid back to everyone. So 142,000 to 200,000 BTC, Bitcoin, is supposed to be paid back. Mt. still controls about 143,000 BCH as well, Bitcoin Cash, and about 69 billion Japanese yen, further complicating the situation. So some people from Mt. are going to be paid back in Bitcoin, some people are going to be paid back in Bitcoin Cash, and some people are going to be paid back in Japanese yen. The people that get paid back in Japanese yen, they will most likely buy. The people that get paid in Bitcoin could possibly sell. Also, that goes for Bitcoin Cash too. However, Adam Black, CEO of Blockstream, previously expressed skepticism regarding the potential market dumping of BTC Mt. essentially creditors. Black emphasized that the long-term potential of Bitcoin and questioned the rationale behind selling at high prices when the market is poised for further growth. Black further suggested that holding Bitcoin in essentially cold storage would be a more prominent choice given the overall favorable market conditions, with the BTC price expected to continue rising in the coming months despite the price wars right now. Established in 2010, Mt. was one of the world's largest Bitcoin exchanges, holding approximately 70% of all BTC transactions until it fell victim to an alleged security breach in 2014. The exchange lost about 850,000 BTC in a hack, resulting as one of the most significant bankruptcies in the crypto space possibly. Ultimately, the repayment process of Mt. creditors introduced a new layer of uncertainty inside the Bitcoin market, contributing to the recent price fluctuations. While concerns persist, industry experts like Adam Black underline the BTC's long-term potential, urging creditors to consider holding their Bitcoin rather than selling at current levels. This is the perspective from Adam. But the perspective from Adam also going side by side with what Mt. is going to do. Mt. has in the past said they're going to be repaying everyone. Every time they said that, it definitely affected the market. So is it going to be for real this time with Mt. essentially paying back everybody? It could be possibly. But if they do, we will know it's a lie or not next month. Because next month, they're going to be, apparently, in their own words, starting to pay back everybody. So we'll find out. If Mt. starts paying back everybody next month, then we can expect more prices to come down. If Mt. doesn't start paying back everybody next month, then again, they're just lying. So, MicroStrategy is the next news to go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through that, let's move to the comment section first. But now you know about next month as well, just in case you don't get surprised. So, let's go inside the comment section first before we go through the next news. But the next news is regarding MicroStrategy and the influence on Bitcoin's price drop. Now, before we go through that, even the Miles and family, okay, we're here. Pure, good to see as well. How you doing? How you been, Pure? Mt. said that they will sell 10 times now, just FUD. Honestly, that will be bullish as BTC's prices are down, so the big institutions will snap up these BTCs, which will push the prices up. Yes, good perspective on how I've seen it. That's $9 billion worth of BTC purchases, pretty much. The doors are closing. That's what's happening next. Exactly. Miles, when you say utility, so does that mean including gaming, AI, and others? When I say utility, yes, it means those categories as well. But when I say utility, I truly mean, out of all the categories, is finance. When I say utility, out of all the categories, it's finance. Let me just put in perspective, why a lot of projects have utility, but some utility projects will always trump others. So gaming is a utility. So there's a crypto project, let's say it's in gaming. Okay, yes, that's technically a utility about that crypto project. It's in gaming, it has gaming contracts, and so on. But the issue with those types of projects is they'll do well for a period of time. For a period of time, they'll do well, and after that, people will lose interest in the game, and that's it. It pretty much goes downhill. I've seen it happen too often with games. Essentially inside the crypto space, where there was a particular game inside the crypto space was doing incredibly well for itself, and then people lost interest. That's just what happens with games. So yes, gaming projects do have utility, but it's a type of category where if they don't, create new games or keep people entertained, they'll lose interest, and which means their value goes down the toilet. So there is utility and there is utility. Also with AI. With AI projects, if the AI doesn't compete with the best on the top of the range of the market space, so let's just say there's an AI crypto project out there, and there is an AI startup company out there as well. So let's just say ChatGPT versus an AI blockchain project. If the AI blockchain project isn't able to compete with ChatGPT over time, then obviously that AI project will also go down the toilet. I'm just being very, very honest and very, very snappy with it. So there's utility and there is actual utility purposes that will last longer. The finance category inside the crypto space is the longest category that will stand pretty much for the dawn of time. The metaverse category inside the crypto space is also based on, essentially people being interested of playing in that metaverse. Once people lose interest, the metaverse essentially games also go to the sidelines as well. And in terms of gaming, people lose interest. The utility pretty much goes down the toilet as well. In terms of essentially AI, if it doesn't compete with the best AI tools out there, it also goes down the toilet as well. The finance category is the only category inside the crypto space that it doesn't matter if people lose interest or not. It's finance. So the money category of the crypto space. So XRP, XLM, XDC, ACH, and so on. These types of categories, they won't go down the toilet because they have their contracts in place. And it doesn't matter if you lose interest or not. First of all, nobody will ever lose interest in money. Let's just get that out of the table, Let's just get that out of the way. Nobody will ever lose interest in money. Okay, but you can lose interest in gaming, you can lose interest in metaverses, you can lose interest in some sort of AI projects that maybe don't compete with the best AI projects out there, but you'll never lose interest in money. So the finance category will always be superior to any other category inside the crypto space because it's something that we use 24/7 all over the world, and nobody will ever lose interest in it. So the finance category will always trump any other category inside the crypto space. The second category, alongside the finance category, will be the data category. Okay, the data category inside the blockchain space, data is pretty much the new oil. Going into a digital world, everything will be based on your data. In terms of even AI projects, the data has to be stored somewhere. Web3, data has to be stored somewhere, and so on and so on. So, number one category for utility will be finance. Second category will always, in terms of utility, be data. Any other category? I mean, I'll give you an example. The reason why SingularityNet, Ocean, and Fetch AI, the reason why Ocean, SingularityNet, and Fetch AI have come together to create this super intelligent, AI project, and they're calling it, this is innovation, Ocean coming together with SingularityNet and Fetch. This is how they announced the news. They announced it as this is major innovation. We're coming in to overtake the AI space with this super intelligent AI that we're creating. Ocean, Fetch, SingularityNet. In reality, it's a sign of weakness because they know for a fact that Ocean can't compete by itself in this AI game. Going up against essentially Google's AI, or going up against essentially ChatGPT, or essentially even going up against multiple startup companies that have billion-dollar fundings right now, seed money in AI projects. Okay, so it's not this massive innovation of Fetch and SingularityNet and Ocean coming together and they're tweeting about it and promoting, super intelligence. No, it's a sign of essentially weakness in business. They can't compete by themselves, so they have to come together to be able to go up against essentially ChatGPT or be able to go up against Gemini from Google and so on and so on. Do you see where I'm going with this? So those kind of categories have to always battle it out. But the finance category is money. One, people will never on this planet, if you live on this planet, you will never lose interest in money. The finance category will always be superior to any other category inside the crypto space. It'll be always on top of the gaming categories, Web3, data, whatever you name it. Finance will always be the number one category. Second will always be data. And then third, four, five, anything else follows. Also, under finance, as an avenue stream, tokenization falls under it also. Do you know why? Because 98 banks are in CBDCs, wholesale CBDCs. Those 98 banks that are on wholesale CBDCs, according to the Bank of International Settlements or the International Monetary Fund, they're going into tokenized CBDCs, wholesale tokenized CBDCs. The Swiss national banks, essentially, I read out the news yesterday, are in mega deep in terms of wholesale CBDs, in terms of tokenizations. So even tokenizations falls under the category of finance. It's just another new avenue stream. So that's why when I say utility, that's what it means. Finance category first, data second, Web3 third, and so on and so on. But Web3 also falls under data, technically. Why do you think Enbridge? So Miles, you told us last year, this year will be utility, utility, utility. Let's go. I did. Last year, I told everyone that this year is only going to be essentially about. Last year, I told everyone on this live show that I do every single night that 2024 is essentially when the world starts shifting into a digital era. I said we're going to see more executives, more banks, more directors, more CEOs, and so on this year. Everything I said last year pretty much happened like a domino effect. We've got more regulations, we've got more banks, and we've got more corporations this year. These are all the things I said last year. Why do you think Enbridge chose Ethereum and not XRP Ledger? Due to liquidity? Well, Enbridge technically didn't choose Ethereum. They chose it to do testings on tokenizations. So they didn't choose it. Well said, Master Mouse. You've been telling us for a while now, time for everyone to get serious with their investments. Facts. They didn't choose it. They did testings on it. And the reason they only did testings on essentially Ethereum was because of China. Where the funding for Ethereum come from? China. Projects that make the money go around and round. Exactly. What up, Miles and family? Hope it's all well. Ray, let's go, brother. How you doing? Miles, will you let us know as to which category or the trend is kicking in the bull run market so we can make some serious money? Those categories. Those categories will always be superior to any other category. We all understand that all the X's are long-term investments except in XDC. Miles, I love it when you get passionate like this. I'm here for it. You tell them. Let's go, Shelly. Hopefully, the non-believers will are taking notice and listening to your facts right now. Can't wait to silence the haters. Let's go, Shelly. So, MicroStrategy. Now, MicroStrategy could also influence some sort of price drops because people are trying to go against MicroStrategy. Now, me and JP were having this conversation once on this live show where MicroStrategy is getting too big for its own shoes. And me and JP were having a conversation on this live show that, essentially BlackRock is always trying to outcompete MicroStrategy, and the Fidelity and everybody else is following suit. And that we said that, MicroStrategy might be getting too big for its own shoes, and, BlackRock and everybody else might not want MicroStrategy or MicroSaylor in a strong position as they are right now with their Bitcoin holdings. So there's some speculation situations going on here, which I'm about to go through on tonight's live show, regarding MicroStrategy and regarding some hedge funds trying to go against their shares. Miles, could it be the future that a lot of people will lose their computer jobs because of AI, would be working in the metaverse as new career? Yes, 1,000,000%. In 2023, I told everyone that if you do lose your job, essentially because of AI later on in life, you're going to end up living in the metaverse. Unless you're inside the crypto space right now, position yourself for, essentially a good future ahead of yourself. If you're not positioning yourself inside of cryptocurrencies right now, when you do lose your job to AI, you're going to be living in the metaverse, which is the worst possible life ever. What would you rather live in, reality or pretend you're in a different country? I would like to visit another country rather than put some glasses on and pretend I'm in Hawaii. Because when I take my Hawaii glasses off, I'm back in London. So, in terms of if you do lose your job later on in life, you're going to be living in the metaverse. I said this in 2023, to make a wage for yourself, to be able to pay for your rent and mortgage and so on. Which will be more trapped. Think about it right now of how you get distracted by news, TV shows, and movies. Yeah, later on when you're living in the metaverse, you're going to be fully distracted from actual reality. Oh, what a beautiful future ahead of us. What up, Miles and CMF? Did I miss something? XRP News, Bill, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? Miles, please say too big for his own shoes. This was the only matter of time. They were coming after him, like we said. Exactly, JP. Thanks, Miles. Let's go free forever. No problem. So, the amazing future ahead of us is if you're in essentially the financial projects. But living in the metaverse is not really a good future for yourself. IKEA are offering jobs. That is true. You can become an IKEA essentially employee inside the metaverse. Doing it good, brother. How are you, my brother? I'm doing great, below. Let's go. So, based on what me and JP were talking regarding MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy influences Bitcoin's price drop. The positive premium for MSTR shares exceeds 200% in March, for example. This short selling idea could have negative consequences for both MSTR shares and BTC's price. MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. MicroStrategy MSTR has been trying to act like a proxy BTC ETF since the previous cycle. Michael Saylor believes his company's shares are more profitable than buying BTC. He continuously grows his reserves by essentially indebting his company. However, there is a problem. Investment firm essentially Carry Capital is shorting MSTR shares right now, claiming they trade at an excessively positive premium compared to Bitcoin. So right now, some hedge fund companies are trying to go on a short for MSTR stocks. By the way, MicroStrategy is holding roughly about $14 billion worth of Bitcoin. And MicroStrategy or Michael Saylor, essentially, Michael Saylor has said multiple times it's better to go for his company shares of MSTR than go for Bitcoin because his company holds Bitcoin. They were like the original, the OG, essentially BTC ETF. Back then, when we didn't have BTC ETFs, we had MSTR, essentially, inside the corporate sector. So right now, hedge fund companies are also putting short positions on MSTR stocks. So, Carry's Capital Chief Investment Officer, Saham, he said they own X amount of Bitcoin. By X amount, he means about $14 billion of Bitcoin MicroStrategy owns. The software business is worth $1 billion, maybe a bit over $1 billion. It doesn't add much value to the company. But Michael Saylor keeps buying Bitcoin. If he wants to buy more Bitcoin, he borrows $1 billion and pays another $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. This doesn't increase the company's corporate value. For the company's value to increase, Bitcoin prices need to rise. If they fall, the company's value falls too. The company should trade at Bitcoin value. Essentially, our argument is to short MSTR and long BTC. So if you were thinking maybe this is going to be bad for Bitcoin, well, how they're playing it as they're trying to remove. When somebody says, they're going to be shorting MSTR but going long on Bitcoin, it means they're trying to remove MSTR from their position. So what's happening right now is not just this hedge fund, but apparently quite a lot of hedge funds are going into short positions on MSTR. Which, if it goes into short positions and Bitcoin decreases a little bit more in value, then MSTR is going to get to a certain stage. Essentially, they would have to sell some off to pay their debts. Because remember, MicroStrategy is borrowing against their debts to buy more Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin keeps on going lower and lower in value, MSTR will be damaged quite badly. And that means that MicroStrategy will have to sell their Bitcoins to pay off some of their debts, which means the company will start, essentially losing value. And at one point, if it goes really south for MicroStrategy, bankruptcy is pretty much the next question about. Which, again, me and JP had this conversation a while ago. I think even last year we had this conversation, me and JP, that MicroStrategy is getting too big, and maybe BlackRock, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan don't want, essentially, MicroStrategy, alongside them. Because it's not just about having money, it's about being part of the circle, if you know what that one means. The positive premium for MSTR shares exceeds 200% in March. This short selling idea could have negative consequences for both MSTR shares and BTC if they keep on going against it. Because they're trying to short MSTR but go long for Bitcoin. So they believe in Bitcoin, these hedge funds, but not so much on MSTR. And they're trying to short their stocks but go for Bitcoin, even though MSTR is a Bitcoin company. MicroStrategy's past doesn't show much evidence of being good at buying low and selling high. After all, Michael Saylor just buys Bitcoin at different times, and you can buy Bitcoin at different times too. Now, Zachary Morris, a research analyst on Ramp, said perhaps fund providers should not start formulating that theses about MicroStrategy. In my opinion, arguing that something is not tied to the reality and then betting on it becoming tied to the reality is not a good strategy. Bitcoin price dropped to, and this is the perspective that he's giving. So essentially, and this is facts. This part is facts. Bitcoin's price dropped by 11,500 after reaching $72,000. This was the November 2022 bottom target for some. Now the loss amount causes panic among investors, especially those new to cryptocurrencies. BTC price drop has many reasons, one being MSTR shares. So is this the time that corporations are trying to essentially remove MicroStrategy from the strong position they're sitting at? Because it's so far been, essentially Grayscale was the one with the most amount of BTCs, and then the battle became MicroStrategy versus BlackRock, and essentially on the terms of who's holding the most amount of Bitcoins. So BlackRock and essentially MicroStrategy became the main battle scene. And me and JB had this conversation that one day they might try to remove MicroStrategy from the rankings. And right now, essentially, hedge funds are putting short positions on MSTR shares, which again, if there's price fluctuations and more price moves downwards, it's going to put major pressure on MSTR and MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor to sell his shares, essentially to sell his Bitcoin to pay back his debts, which will essentially weaken MicroStrategy badly if things go like this. But they might be trying to get rid of him. And if they are trying to get rid of him, it's also a good sign. Sorry to MicroStrategy, sorry to Michael Saylor, but if they are trying to get rid of MicroStrategy and if they are trying to get rid of Michael Saylor or trying to put him in a weak position, it's a good thing. The reason why I would say it's a good thing is not to be cruel to MicroStrategy or Michael Saylor, but the reason why I would say it's a good thing is because it means that they're taking more action to control the market space, which means they're taking more action, which means we're getting closer to more money coming inside the market space. They're positioning themselves basically to take out people they don't want inside the market space, essentially, and then for the regulations to come, for more funds to come inside the market space. They're positioning themselves right now to take out corporations that shouldn't be holding power inside this space. Now you might think, well, this is wrong and so on. As crypto is all about everybody has a choice. Come back to reality. Corporations want to put more money in, but first they're going to position themselves, and they don't want people that they don't want inside of their group. So, the Bitcoin Lightning Network is about the next news we're going to go through on tonight's live show. The Bitcoin Lightning Network hacker launches a roll-ups. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Doing good. Let's go. I feel like July will be case end. Let's go. Hey, Miles, are you doing? Is crypto market is higher in price in Europe? Hey, Miles. Daniel, good to see you. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm doing great. Is crypto market is higher in price in EU? Daniel, elaborate. Elaborate on that one. Same as Japan with the US Treasury bonds, banks have bailed them out through with the US dollar, Miles. Exactly. Pegs, let's go. How you doing, Peg? How you been? And regarding the Japan situation and the banks and the US Treasury and so on, I said this a while ago that they won't let Japan go sideways. It was a perspective that I showed on this live show that the US will print Save Japan is basically what's happened now. I think we will all have to admit that BlackRock is the daddy of the markets. What Funky Brother has said is basically true. It's facts. What Funky Brother has just said, which is as absurd or funny it might sound, and the way he's put it and sentenced it out, which he said, I think we all have to admit that BlackRock is the daddy of the markets. This is really not looking good for him. If his shares go south, that's crazy. What they will do, it was last year we talked about it, and now it's coming true. Facts. Me and JP talked about MicroStrategy last year that they might try to push MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor out of his position, BlackRock and so on. They might try to push him out of his position. Now, BlackRock is publicly not going to be essentially shortening MicroStrategy because it's too obvious. You see, when traders like that come into the picture, everybody, it raises alarms for everyone. But when multiple hedge funds are doing it back to back, it's possible. It's less eyes. Let's go. Also, we have to learn one thing from this, that together you are much stronger. Unity rules. Facts. It's just the power that they have is incredible and incredible to watch it. Facts. Honestly, once you realize how much power corporations have on everyday aspects, if you're inside the market space, some people will see it as, oh, this company owns that company, so on. But if you're inside the market space, it's not just about understanding who owns who. It's about how they control and move their power around inside the market space. For example, Solana is like 40, and XRP price is like $16. For example, Solana is like 40 and XRP's price is like no. Okay, now I understand what you mean. Daniel, no. The price of XRP or the price of Solana or the price of Bitcoin is one price all around the world. There's no price difference. For example, if based on your scenario, so based on your own example, if XRP is, for example, if XRP is $1 in the US, it's $1 in the UK, it's $1 in Canada, it's $1 all around the world. If Bitcoin is $50,000, it's $50,000 in every single market space. There's no price differences if it's in Europe or if it's in Canada or Australia or Japan. It's the same price all around the world. The market is one market. We can't have multiple prices, then otherwise through arbitrary. Because if for example, Solana was $40 in the EU, then I could just buy $40, for example, Solanos in the EU, and then through arbitrary just sell it for higher inside of other market spaces, or do some OTC situations and sell it for higher. So that will fall under arbitrary. So we can't do that in any sort of sense. But I don't care because it's all good things. Dollars coming in. Let's go, JP. Facts. But yeah, Daniel, it's the same price all around the world, because otherwise you can buy it cheaper and sell it higher somewhere else, which in some jurisdictions, first of all, is illegal. Second, you can't do that in any sort of sense, because you can just sell it for arbitrary. So no, same price all around the world. Now, that goes for stocks also. Bitcoin Lightning Network. I heard from someone today. That's why I'm asking you. No, it's the same price. Same price. Whoever said to you that, for example, Solana is 40 euros in the EU, but different price in the US, that person's a moron. I'll be very honest. If that was an influencer telling you that it's 40, you can buy $40 euros, for example, in the EU, and $100 Solanos in the essentially US, that person's a moron. There's no such thing. There is a holdings companies that's higher, stronger than BlackRock. Only one. The one thing you can get cheaper, and some other countries, are cars. Yes, that's true. In some countries you get cars cheaper. In the UK, cars are very cheap. But that's because our steering wheel was on the right side. So, the Bitcoin Lightning Network hacker launches brawl apps. Bitcoin BTC price declined significantly over the past few days. However, the new updates on the Bitcoin Lightning Network could help BTC. Now, I revealed to everyone on this live show once that there is, in terms of the people that maintain the Bitcoin network, there's one particular person that maintains the Bitcoin network, and this person once compromised the Bitcoin network just to prove to everybody it can be compromised. Now, he is also, develop on the Bitcoin network and develop on the Bitcoin Lightning network and so on. But this person was outcasted and shadowed by the rest of the developers essentially on Bitcoin's Lightning Network for compromising the network just to prove a point. But now this person has essentially came back and decided to bring something to the Bitcoin Lightning Network to fix some of his issues. So the hacker, who is technically a good person, but he just tried to prove a point because nobody would listen to him. He created something called, not even joking, he created something called the bro code. I'm not even joking. The Bitcoin Lightning Network hacker, previous hacker, but now developer, even previously developer, created something called the Bro Code that's going to be fixing the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Burke is his name, a Bitcoin developer known for his past exploit that exposed a bug in the Bitcoin Lightning Network, was now making headlines for different reasons. He's behind a new Layer 2 solution for Bitcoin called Rollups, which he stands it as for the Bro Code. This innovation aims to significantly expand the capabilities of Bitcoin in the realm of DeFi. Rollups, as Burke explains, is a layer 2 that leverages a Bitcoin native rollup design. This means that it can bundle transactions together without requiring a complex hard fork of the Bitcoin protocol or the creation of the new token specific to Rollups. Currently in the design phase, Rollups is designed to integrate seamlessly with Bitcoin. Burke emphasizes that Rollups are deeply baked into Bitcoin and will work natively with Bitcoin as a payable construct. The functionalities of Rollups will be overseen by operators. These operators will play a crucial role in maintaining the liquidity within the protocol and keeping the Rollup state updated by regularly chaining Bitcoin transactions on the Bitcoin virtual machine. Burke's solution has gathered significant praises within the Bitcoin community for achieving its goals without disrupting the core Bitcoin protocol or introducing a new token. This approach positions Rollups to potentially address over 90% of DeFi use cases on Bitcoin. Rollups has the potential to streamline the secure DeFi applications built on Bitcoin. This could eliminate the need for intermediaries, paving the way for more decentralized financial ecosystems. A blast from the past. It's important to note that Burke is no stranger to making waves inside the Bitcoin landscape. Back in October 2022, he exposed a vulnerability inside the Bitcoin Lightning Network using a complex multi-signature taproot transaction. This incident highlighted the potential issues within the taproot upgrade, a major update implemented in November 2021 aimed at enhancing Bitcoin's privacy efficiency and smart contract capabilities. So this man is trying to single-handedly, fix all of Bitcoin's issues. And in his words, about 90% of the DeFi use cases on Bitcoin should be fixed with his new method called the Bro Code. Not even joking. He's named it the Bro Code. It's going to be implemented on Bitcoin, and people inside the Bitcoin community are praising him. But his new software is called Bro Code. So maybe someday in the future, we're going to hear companies using the Bro Code on Bitcoin, because apparently it fixes 90% of the issues on DeFi spaces for Bitcoin. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is called Tom Lee. Tom Lee essentially reveals rationales behind the price predictions of Bitcoin. But before we go through that price, let's go to the comment section first. They might be referring to the differences in each country's currency, like XRP is 47 cents, US spot 71 cents, AUD maybe. Maybe. Daniel, maybe what the person might have been referring to is different types of currencies. So in the UK it's around 37 pence, and the US is around something cent, and so on. So is that what he was referring to? Different types of currencies? In terms of the fiat currencies, then yes, there's price fluctuations in terms of currencies, but not major, but depends on the jurisdiction of the currency. But it's still the same thing. So it's still the same value. It's just another value in that type of fiat currency. What I mean is, if you buy 37 pence, so in British pounds, if I buy a 37 pence worth of XRP in British pounds, it's just in cents, it's the same value. And essentially, it's the same value in any sort of fiat currency. It's just on their own fiat currency, if you know what I mean. So if I buy £1 worth of, essentially £1 worth of XRP, it's $1 and something in America. But if you turn back the $1 and something to pounds, it comes back to £1. If you buy it for $2 in Australian dollars or something, $3 and so on, and you turn it back, it'd still be the same amount in any currency. So if he is talking about that aspect, yes, there's price fluctuations, but if you turn it back into the original the currency that you're living in, so if I'm living in the UK but I essentially buy it in euros, if I turn it back, it's still in pounds. It'll have the same value I had in euros. It's just it has the same value now in British pounds instead of euros. It's the same valuation just different currency. The exchange rate of that currency, essentially the exchange rate of that currency. It has the same value still. So if it's $1 here, it's $1 essentially worth in their own currency in EU. Yes, I understand what you mean. Yeah. Brilliant. So, Tom Lee reveals rational, Shelley, thank you for that as well. Tom Lee reveals the rationale essentially behind Bitcoin's price predictions. Also, Jose, thank you for that as well. And Daniel, let's go. So, during his recent appearance on the Odds Lots podcast, Tom Lee explained the rationales behind his Bitcoin essentially price predictions. He said Bitcoin is unlike other asset classes because there is a cooperative value. You know, those people who contribute to the networks benefit from it, and that's different from any other asset class, Lee explained, which is true. In terms of any other asset class, it's true. If you buy a painting, you can't add anything to that painting. It just has that value, and that's it. Essentially, it could go up in value, and it could also decrease, but you can't add anything to it. If you buy bonds, you can't add anything to it. If you buy a stock, you can't add anything to it. You can't build on it either. So yes, in terms of Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency having that sort of value of you being able to build on it and add more value to it, yes, it's very different. So Lee recalled that his firm first wrote about Bitcoin in 2017. And Bitcoin was around $1,000 at that time in 2017. Now, this is him talking about this on a podcast. Back then, Fundstrat published a white paper which explained that there is two main variables that determine the price of Bitcoin: the number of active wallets and the activity per wallet. At that time, we made a simple projection. His company made a simple projection. He said that in 5 years, by 2022, if the number of wallets went up by 70% and the activity per wallet went up by 40%, Bitcoin would be around $25,000 by 2022, Lee said. The prominent bull called Bitcoin an incredible technology, since it is secure that it has never been hacked in 14 years of its existence. Not a single entry of the Bitcoin ledger is fraudulent, he added. That said, over 80% of Bitcoin's price moves are still explained by activity per wallet. And essentially, Fidelity's Jurian Timmer has suggested that the underwhelming growth of the Bitcoin network could be the reason why the cryptocurrency failed to record highs in recent months as well. The crypto king essentially slipped below the $60,000 level today, Bitcoin, for the first time in more than a month, touching a low of 59,000 or even below. Recently doubled down on his previously stated price target of $150,000 back in June. So the perspective they're giving out right now on this podcast from these executives is that at the end of the year, they're still looking at $150,000 Bitcoin. They're saying what we're going through right now is just some turbulence, some speed bumps and some turbulence. We're still looking at 150,000 by the end of the year because there's still a lot of things happening this year. Now, I told everyone that Africa. So on this live show, I share, every single night news of what's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, regulations, contracts, and so on. Now, I told everyone that just like the Middle East is like the hub for all types of businesses. A lot of businesses are moving over to the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or the United Arab Emirates or Bahrain and so on, or Qatar. A lot of businesses are moving there and setting themselves up. And the Middle East has just become this hub for this entrepreneurial, essentially scenarios. But I also said to everybody that now also a lot of investments are going towards Africa. In terms of blockchain and AI companies, and governments from different jurisdictions are now putting and allocating some of their investments into Africa. We've heard it with Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered Bank has excelled itself into Africa in terms of blockchain payments through Zodiac custody. Ripple has done the same thing. Metico has done the same thing. Multiple other crypto platforms have done the same thing. Also, African nations are coming out essentially and, creating grants for anybody that wants to come out and do some blockchain projects with them. The governments are doing this and they're accepting, foreigners to come in and, for startup companies to give them fundings and so on. But the news why I'm sharing you this is because also now ACH has came in as well. A lot of things are happening in Africa in terms of blockchain and AI. A lot of things. And ACH has just announced a new partnership in terms of their crypto expansion and paying system. So from Botswana to Zambia, ACH Pay's massive crypto expansion hits Africa. ACH, Pay, a leading gateway in bridging traditional finance with the crypto economy, has significantly widened its footprint across Africa now. The recent rollout of new payment channels underscores its commitment to enhancing the ease of buying cryptocurrencies using local currencies. This initiative is a part of a broader strategy to integrate more African users into the global crypto landscape, utilizing familiar with accessible financial tools. Greater access to crypto in Africa, said Pay. On X, they tweeted about today. They said greater access to crypto in Africa, introducing new payment channels in 9 African countries, empowering users to buy cryptocurrencies with their local fiat currencies through local bank transfers. Dive into our blog to learn more, is what ACH tweeted out today. Impact on local markets and user experience. As a part of an important advance, ACH now gives individuals from 9 unique African nations the ability to purchase crypto directly using their local fiats through bank transfers. Botswana with the BWP, Cameroon with the XAF, Kenya with the KES, Malawi with the MWK, Nigeria with the NGN, Rwanda with the RWF Bank, Tanzania with the TZS Bank, Uganda with the UGX Bank, Zambia, a range of 9 countries that are able to match the pace such as UGX. This move not only streamlines the process of consumers in these areas, it also leans on existing local bank infrastructures to make dancing into the crypto space easier for newcomers. For many Africans, this will be a hurdle locally as they now have direct bank transfer functionalities. This ensures that ACH is able to cut down on the complexities of currency conversions on cross-border financial transactions using local banking systems. This not only helps in increasing the success rate of transactions, but it also helps reduce user-paid fees, hence making this economically beneficial for the common man or woman. This fits in towards ACH's broader strategy in achieving greater economic exclusivity. By adapting a more democratic approach to cryptocurrencies, they are opening the door for thousands, if not millions, of people to take part in the burgeoning digital economy in Africa. It is an especially important development for a continent that is increasingly moving towards mobile banking and fintech solutions, offering abundant opportunities for digital transactions with that financial security, improving user experience. The conventional path to getting cryptocurrencies can be complex or overpowering for most users. This simplifies the entire process and allows for a clearer route for those who are essentially waiting to get into the crypto markets. With ACH becoming one of the first cryptocurrency payment gateways to offer bank transfers inside of Africa, such enhancements in user experiences are crucial for adoption, especially in regions where technological and financial literacy is rapidly evolving. And it is in Africa right now, is rapidly evolving. Not just essentially crypto platforms going out there or banks going out there to do massive partnerships and build these blockchain companies and AI companies, but also you have governments. For example, Russia is investing roughly about $100 million on Bitcoin, essentially mining equipments, and essentially building a massive Bitcoin mining warehouses and companies in Africa. Not only that, but also Marathon Digital is doing the same thing. They had a sit down with Kenya's governments, and they signed contracts to build mining equipment there and warehouses there and bring Bitcoin minings over there. And even the Block, essentially Jack Dorsey's company, is going there and doing the same thing. But Jack Dorsey is doing something different as well. And also they're going to be using essentially, volcano power or sun power or wind power to be doing these kinds of things. But also Jack Dorsey's company is going to be providing wherever the Bitcoin mining warehouses are going to be, Jack Dorsey's company is going to be providing free electricity and free Wi-Fi for any local villages or communities around it. around those Bitcoin mining operations. So Jack Dorsey and Russia and so many of the governments are actually going to Africa. They're building up massive warehouses for Bitcoin minings. They're providing jobs, but also they said, well, Jack Dorsey said that whoever, any cities or villages that are around the Bitcoin mining corporations will receive free Wi-Fi and free electricity. So with essentially, and honestly, Africa is becoming a hotspot for blockchain and AI. The same way, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and so on and so on became a hotspot for entrepreneurialism and business. Africa is becoming, a hotspot for blockchain AI as well. There's a lot of investments going towards African nations, a lot, in terms of Bitcoin corporations, in terms of such crypto platforms, and even in terms of banks or even AI projects. They're creating grants in essentially multiple African nations. They're giving out grants. They're raising seed money. It's becoming a hotspot for this type of scenarios, which is great, honestly, to see. Now, with ACH expanding these services internationally, its interest in Africa is on the back of the surge in demand for financial services that deliver the capabilities to merge fiat and essentially digital currencies. With the market expansion at the forefront of their growth, they are committed to creating a sustainable financial ecosystem that supports both immediate and long-term requirements. Headquartered in Singapore and established in 2017, ACH has been the leading global payment gateway that connects cryptocurrencies with fiat systems. It's a range of services featured on and off-ramp services, crypto cards, Web3, digital bankings, NFT checkouts, and so much more comes from ACH. By offering this wide range of services, ACH continues to establish itself as a key player in the movement towards cryptocurrency adoption worldwide, delivering infrastructure for businesses and end users in over 173 countries around the world, is what ACH said. So, honestly, a lot of things are happening in Africa in terms of countries, corporations, and banks, and so on. And, if anybody thinks me comparing essentially Saudi Arabia or me comparing United Arab Emirates progress to African nations, it's really not. The reason why even Dubai or United Arab Emirates exists, the reason why the United Arab Emirates exists is because of American oil companies. So United Arab Emirates was just sand pretty much, and this royal family of the United Arab Emirates and so on. Nothing against them, great people, great nation, great culture, all these countries. But the reason why all these countries are standing the way they are, and Dubai is built the way it is, and United Arab Emirates is built the way it is, and Saudi Arabia is built the way it is, and so on, is because of the American oil companies. Same thing can happen in Africa, and it is. In terms of blockchain companies going there, a lot. Governments going there to build in Africa as well right now, in terms of blockchain and AI. But the reason why Dubai is because of American oil companies. The reason why Saudi Arabia is because of American oil companies. And now they're turning their backs on America. Well, Saudi Arabia isn't. Well, on the news there seem to be, but they still have that contract somewhat going on. But yeah, even the royal family of the United Arab Emirates, the reason why they even exist and are rich or powerful is because of American oil companies. Now, European central banks. What I'm trying to say is investments can be diversified, and they're getting diversified into Africa as well now. Now, European central banks releases first CBDC progress update. Before we go through that news, the European Central Bank has released an update on their progress so far, which we're going to go through the rest today, basically. We'll go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through that, let's go to the comment section first. Roll-ups. The exchange rate of that currency. Yes, I understand. Let's go. Miles, Nigeria will get left behind if they don't wake up. Yes, it is true. They have to wake up. Well, you need to be brave. You need to be brave to go to Africa for partnerships. You could end up in prison upon landing and receiving no medical attention, which happened in Nigeria. It is true. Two Binance executives went to Nigeria because they were invited by the Nigerian government to have a sit down. They arrived at the airport and got arrested. One of them is in prison. One of them escaped by saying, "Can I go in prayer?" So they took the man to the prayer, and then he escaped from the prayer location. One of them is still in prison, but he might be extradited to the United States. Yes, it is true. That part is true. That's only one nation, and it's only because the Nigerian government is extremely corrupt. But all governments ought to be fairly. Hello, everyone, and Thomas. Thomas, good to see you. How you doing? Hey, Miles. Michipe is pronounced alchemy. Now, European central banks. European central banks release first CBDC progress update. The European Central Bank's ECB released its first progress reporting on developing a central bank digital currency CBDC. This update came out today basically. The privacy provisions were a main focus with the ECB, promising hashing functions and encryption features as against tracking individuals by transactions. So the biggest issue for CBDCs is basically the privacy issue. Nobody likes the idea of being tracked 24/7. Nobody likes that. So what the CBDC for the EU was focused on, and the reports they released today, was solving the tracking issues. So additionally, under the ECB CBDC framework, payment service providers cannot use consumer financial data for commercial services without first obtaining explicit consent from the individual who essentially generated the financial data. So, in other words, you have access to your own data in a CBDC world. If you give consent to a third-party company to use it, to essentially use that data that you have, then that company can use that data. Is how they're laying out the CBDCs, which is just a load of mumbo jumbo random words. So this is what corporates do. This is what essentially these types of governments do in terms of CBDCs. They're lying to you. So they're saying it as if we give you consent, if you give consent, then we will share that CBDC data with the third party and consumers and businesses out there. If you don't give consent, then we won't share anything. It's just a lot of mumbo jumbo. How it's actually going to work is basically you won't be able to use most of the features of CBDCs. One that could be buying things. So when you download an app, and you sign up to that app, very simple feature. You download an app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. And then when you download the app, you go to sign up for the app, and everybody clicks the agree button and everybody presses accept. Nobody sits there to read a 200-page PDF document if they should accept. Everybody just signs up for the app, presses accept, and presses another accept for the terms and conditions, and then the app gives you access to all of its features, which is basically going to be the same scenario. So the ECB, the EU, is telling you right now, essentially, that other jurisdictions will follow on the same path. They're telling you right now, you are in control of your own CBDC, essentially data and so on. And we won't give anybody access to your data in terms of third parties and businesses out there and consumers and so on. You are in control. If you give consent, then we will share. You will give consent, but you won't even know about it. You're going to one day press accept on one of these terms and conditions that they send you, and then that's it. You've given consent. It's going to be a 200-page PDF document. Nobody's going to read it. Everybody's just going to go accept. And that's it. That's your consent. So this idea of, they're going to be giving you the option of you give consent and then we'll share your CBDC data is a load of, mumbo jumbo, essentially. It makes no sense. It's just legal words that they have to throw in there. You're going to give consent and you won't even know about it. You're just going to press accept. That's it. One day you're going to press accept and that's it. That's pretty much it. That means you've just given consent to whatever it was, which is for them to share your data. So, but they're trying to put this as a safety feature of, don't worry, we won't share. Additionally, under the ECB CBDC framework, payment service providers cannot use consumer financial data for commercial services without first obtaining explicit consent from the individual who generated the financial data. Methods for conducting offline transactions were also outlined. The update briefly touched on providing support for offline transactions directly between parties without needing a third-party intermediary. These payments would be settled directly on the payment devices employed by the user on smartphones, yet to be smart cards, that be battery powered, or rely on bridging relays to synchronize transactions on the CBDC blockchain. So even regarding offline CBDCs, regarding offline CBDCs, the EU is going to be providing you some sort of CBDC bank cards, but also you can use your smartphones in the meantime. The report concluded by providing a time horizon for the newly established Rulebook Development Group to finalize the first draft of its technical and regulatory CBDC framework. According to the ECB, the Rulebook Development Group will deliver its final first draft by the end of 2024, after consulting with service providers, infrastructure builders, and the general public. The digital elephant in the room, privacy issues, and fundamental human liberty remain top concerns regarding the widespread use of central bank digital currencies, as an anti-CBDC sentiment continues to grow within the crypto community. During the recent Oslo Freedom Forum, speakers and attendees examined several instances where state actors underlyingly seized the assets of individuals to crush dissents. These examples were present as just a taste of the control and government overreach poised by the government-controlled blockchain currencies. According to a 2023 report from Trezo, 73% of respondents expressed unease with the privacy issues posed by the CBDCs and the unparalleled control it would grant governments to control consumer behavior. Cities argue that these risks far outweigh the benefits of CBDCs when stablecoins are considered. These raise questions about the redundancy of central banks in terms of central bank digital fiat and broader problems with the CBDC adoption. By the way, governments are trying to phase out the words CBDCs. So every time when you hear the word CBDC, you instantly think control. If you're inside the crypto space, if somebody says to you CBDC, the first word that comes to your head is control. If I say CBDCs to somebody inside the crypto space world, first word that comes to mind is control. So they're trying to get rid of the word CBDC. They explained this once at the Bank of International Settlements Summit, and the governor of the Bank of Bahrain said, "Why do we keep on calling it CBDCs? It's just, digital money. Why do we keep on don't call it CBDCs. This is just digital dollars, digital pounds, digital euros. That's what it is. It's just the fiat money in digital form. What's this CBDC we keep on calling it, or central bank digital currencies? No, it's just digital dollars, digital pounds, digital euros. They're trying to give it a new image." Now, because everybody has a bad image. When I say CBDCs, you instantly think control. It's just embedded in you. But when I say to you digital dollar, if you're not smart enough, you won't catch on. Especially people who are not inside the cryptocurrency space. And there's a lot of people who are not inside the cryptocurrency space. If you say, to somebody that's not inside the crypto space, "Oh, this is digital pounds," they'll think, "Oh, this is, cash pounds, and this is digital pounds, or this is cash dollars, and this is, essentially," and so on, basically. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is Louisiana. New crypto law protects node operators and bans CBDCs in Louisiana. Louisiana is not the only state inside the United States that's basically coming out and doing scenarios like this of protecting people's assets and so on. I revealed on this live show quite multiple states inside the United States that are, bringing up their own jurisdictions and regulations out in terms of cryptocurrencies. And the previous one that I shared on this live show was not Ohio, but another one. So with an O. Doesn't come to mind right now. But it was about a week ago I shared. But anyways, Louisiana is the news to go through next. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Just like they said, cash will be still used alongside CBDCs, pretty much. I did see that they are going to call it something else. Yep, Mike, let's go. So, Louisiana new crypto laws protect node operators and so on, and bans CBDCs. The US state of Louisiana has amended its legislations to ban the use of central bank digital currency, CBDCs, and set rules for Bitcoin miners and node operators. The revised law will become effective in August 2024. The amendments, dubbed the Blockchain Basics Act, prohibit the US states of Louisiana from participating in tests and accepting or requiring payments using CBDCs. However, the other digital currencies are not prohibited, By the legislation, a governing authority shall not participate in any test of central bank digital currencies by the Board of the Governors, reads the Act. Louisiana is also enforcing tight controls over the foreign-owned digital asset mining companies. The state's legislation prohibits foreign parties from acquiring or maintaining any stakes in digital asset mining operations within Louisiana. So only if you're an American citizen, you can set up a Bitcoin mining operation inside of Louisiana. If you're not an American citizen, you're not welcome. Effective from August 1st, is basically what it says. Effective from August 1st, 2024, foreign-controlled business currently engaged in digital asset minings in Louisiana will have a 1-year window to divest their interest fully. The law significantly essentially gives out penalties for non-compliance, which can reach up to $1 million or 25% of the foreign party's stake in the mining operation. The Louisiana authorities are basically saying to the foreign Bitcoin mining operations in Louisiana, if you don't comply, we'll take 25% of your company. Is that considered a bribe for Louisiana governors to look the other way because they have 25% share of that company now? We'll find out over time. Node operators in Louisiana. Louisiana's revised legislation provides a definition for node operators and their role in the network. Clarifying that although node plays crucial roles in maintaining a blockchain, they do not have the authority to alter or decide the outcome of the transactions initiated by their users. According to the Act, a node is a device that communicates with other devices or participants on a blockchain to maintain and essentially consensus with the integrity of that blockchain, creating and validating transactions blocks. It notes a node does not exercise discretion over transactions initiated by the end user of the blockchain protocol. Digital dollar versus US elections. The prospects of a digital dollar inside the United States are becoming increasingly uncertain. Like Louisiana, other states, including Florida and North Carolina, have taken legislation actions to restrict the bans of the use of CBDCs. It didn't start with a no, it was North Carolina that I was thinking of. But yeah, Florida, North Carolina, and Louisiana are pretty much on that list. CBDCs are similar challenges among the presidential contenders. For the upcoming election, Donald Trump has expressed essentially going against CBDCs, citing concerns about the government's overreach and the potential for increased surveillance. During a January campaign speech, Trump said that he would never allow the creation of central bank digital currency, saying it would give the government absolute control over citizens' money. The Biden administration, on the other hand, appears more open to exploring the potential of CBDCs. However, it has faced legislative pushbacks from several US senators who seek to ban the introduction of the digital dollar in the country. According to the Cointelegraph research database, at least 110 countries are actively exploring or developing a CBDC. Of these, 39 have progressed to more advanced stages, such as piloting or launching CBDC initiatives, which is all true. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is regarding Trump. And then after Trump, so we're going to go through the Trump news, and then we're going to go through the Biden news, Sleepy Joe, and then we're going to be going through some interesting news from a bank in Germany, and then we're going to be going through the Ripple news. There's quite a bit of news still left. Julian is sent to be freed following US plea deal. Wow, finally. Gary will soon sue Louisiana lawmakers. Lol. Soon sue. I mean, it is possible. I mean, Gary Gensler sues anything. Gary Gensler will sue anything with a pulse. Not even joking. He would honestly sue anything with a pulse inside the crypto space. Now, Trump is in talks to speak at a Bitcoin 2024 in July. So next month. With just months left, well, in this case, a month, until the 2024 US, with just months left regarding the 2024 US election, former President Trump is looking to cement a potentially key group, the crypto community. According to Axios, Trump is in talks with an eye on speaking at the Bitcoin 2024 convention, which is expected to take place from July 25th to the 27th, 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville, Tennessee, they're going to do a massive Bitcoin event, and apparently Trump wants to be a key guest speaker there. Axios reported this today, citing two sources familiar with the development: Trump and his growing Bitcoin crypto-friendly stance. The Bitcoin magazine Bitcoin 2024 event is the largest BTC event of the year, and it takes place right after the Republican National Convention ends. Notably, it was at the Bitcoin 2022 at the 2020 event in Miami, where El Salvador announces plans to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. Giving this event could offer Trump the platform to make a major statement about his Bitcoin stance. Indeed, the news of Trump's plan to speak at this year's Bitcoin event comes at made essentially increased perception across the crypto industry that the former president is crypto friendly. The comparison with Biden's approach recently in the months before Trump's emergence as a serious supporter of crypto had the current administration as not good for the industry. Earlier this month, Trump met leading Bitcoin miners in the US as well. With his comments following the meeting, all remaining Bitcoins should be mined inside the United States country. During a recent rally, Trump said, "I will end Joe Biden's war on crypto, and we will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America," is what Trump said. So Trump might be doing a massive speech at the Bitcoin event in Nashville, Tennessee, around July 25th to July 27th, which could be quite big. And I could definitely see the market space reacting to it. The crypto market space will definitely react between 25th of July, 27th of July, if Trump gives a big speech. Or right before it as well. Right before, most likely the market will react as well, because on the idea of essentially buy the rumor, sell the news. Now, Biden. So we went through Trump going pro-crypto as usual. Here is something interesting. Well, we'll see if it's interesting enough, but Biden rehires a former crypto advisor, Carol House. Now, Carol House, the President Joe Biden rehired Carol House, a key figure who helped create the administration crypto policy 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this lady, was designing, some sort of regulations for cryptocurrencies and so on, and who knows on why the reason she got sacked, as in she had to leave. But Joe Biden has brought her back, and she is pro-crypto in a sense. So the House, Carol House, who previously served as a National Security Council Director, is now on the Special Advisors on Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Policy. House called for President Biden's 2022 executive order on digital assets, which is reportedly aimed to ensure the responsible development of cryptocurrencies. In a LinkedIn post announcing her return, House expressed her excitement, saying, "Honored to have been called to return to the service, absolutely critical mission sets that are necessary to shape the future of a secure and trustworthy digital economy for the United States." Before her initiate stint at the White House, she had advisory roles at Commodities and Futures Trading Commission and the National Security Council, so the CFTC and the National Council. More recently, she was an executive in the residence at the Tarrant Ventures, a venture firm focused on crypto, and advised the Digital Dollar Project, a non-profit exploring central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. She was also a part of the Digital Dollar Program inside the United States, also part of the whole CBDC venture inside the United States, and also a venture company that's pro-crypto, focused on crypto projects. She is now with the whole Biden campaign. Known for her programmatic approach, House has been a vocal advocate for the potential of blockchain technology, while emphasizing the need for robust essentially enforcements to prevent illicit activities. Adoption for lots of crypto economic cases are happening internationally, she noted during the 2024 Consensus Conference, but she also stressed the need for more enforcement. While Biden is bringing back his crypto guru, Trump is over there doing Trump things. Meanwhile, Biden's team is playing it cool. They're reserving their stance on Ethereum ETFs and supposedly planning to attend crypto industry meetings as well. On the Biden Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, have aggressively pursued legal actions against major crypto projects like Binance and Coinbase on the Biden. This approach has been criticized for creating uncertainty and stifling innovation within the industry. Meanwhile, Trump's dichotomy stance has historically led to increased market optimism. It is true. Regarding Trump, every time he comes on, talks about the market space, the market reacts in a good way, in a positive way. For instance, the NFIB Small Business Optimized Index soared following his 2016 election win due to anticipated, and a similar market reaction is expected if he wins the 2024 election, with a potential bullish impact on the crypto markets. It is true, as also what the International Monetary Fund and the Bank of International Settlement said, which is because a lot of people like to, say, well, America has no control, and so America's losing control. America hasn't lost any control, and they're never going to lose control. A lot of people need to understand that part. Now, what the Bank of International Settlements and the International Monetary Fund has said is, when the American markets sneeze, the world markets catch a cold, which is facts. When the American market sneezes, the rest of the markets around the world catch a cold. So yes, Trump gets elected, obviously the markets will, go parabolic. Not financial advice. But yet, Biden is trying to bring a pro-crypto person that worked at a venture company to bring out some cryptocurrency regulations, and somebody that worked on the Project Dollar project, the digital dollar project. Also, the digital dollar project, ironically, is a part of Ripple. Now, they had talks before on some sort of talks and partnerships, collaborations with each other. Now, Deutsche Bank subsidiary announces a collaboration with a surprise forgotten altcoin. The Deutsche Bank has came out and made an announcement. They are getting back together with a particular crypto project that they haven't talked about in a while, though. Anybody want to take a guess on what this particular crypto project is that Deutsche Bank has came out and spoke about? Yesterday, I asked the same question, not on regarding Deutsche Bank, but I asked the same question of anybody want to take a guess of who they're talking about, and everybody got the question wrong. Now, let's see if anybody can get the question right this time around. But to be fair, yesterday's question was a trick question. Nobody saw it coming. And when I read the news, I never saw it coming either when I read the article to myself. But this one, let's see who gets it. Deutsche Bank has came out and they said that, they've got a surprise for everyone, essentially. They're talking about a forgotten altcoin that they've got back together with. Anybody want to take a guess which crypto project Deutsche Bank essentially has got back together with? German bank. Gary will soon. Yep, honestly, Trump really over there. The news though, can't wait for the debate. Let's go Ray Facts. I can't wait for that debate either. Hey, Miles, are we expecting more drops in the market? Is XRP going down more? Possibly, yes. Because I talked about empty Gox as well. Empty Gox might be, essentially next month repaying everybody. So there's a possibility of the market going down. Just some tips for you during the debate. While Biden has to go change his diaper during the break, might be a good time to go and grab yourself some popcorn. Yeah, let's go, Shelley. It's a fair point. What Shelley just said, just a quick dip. While Biden goes to change his diaper during the break, might be a good time to go and grab yourself some popcorn. Why not? It's like a break. When you watch something on TV and there's an advert in between, it's basically the same thing. Let's go, Shelley. Ian said ADA is what Deutsche Bank is talking about. Juno said XLM. Kerry said Algo. Kerry also said ADA. Vibe said Dodge. Interesting picks. I'll be honest, what everyone's saying. Interesting picks. Only because it's old and nobody would think of it, which is true. Vibe is going on the basis that this might be a trick question. That's why she said Dodge. Fair point. Very fair point. So, regarding ADA, XLM, Algo, ADA or Dodge, one person was correct. The answer to that question is Deutsche Bank subsidiary announces a collaboration with a surprise forgotten altcoin. Taurus, which is Deutsche Bank's essentially crypto custody platform, a leading digital asset infrastructure provider backed by Deutsche Bank, announced its expansion into Stellar Network, XLM. The Swiss fintech company is known for providing its services to major financial institutions such as Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, and Santander Bank. Taurus is a part of all these banks. And XLM, starting on Monday, Taurus digital asset custody platform, Taurus Protect, and digital issuance and tokenization platform Taurus Capital will be available on Stellar's open source public blockchain. This integration will allow banks and issuers to issue and manage any tokenized assets on Stellar's network with the ability to fully customize and automate payment flows using programmable wallet behaviors and essentially banking grade access controls. Taurus's head of Global Street Partnerships, Jorgen, said that in his statement, the integration with the Stellar aligns seamlessly with Taurus's strategic growth as the blockchain is optimized and developed for asset tokenization. Our banking and non-banking customers can now benefit from the lower fees and faster transactions, optimizing efficiencies across a variant of tokenization use cases such as equity, debt, structured products, funds, and tokenized deposits, and CBDCs. Prior to this announcement, Taurus tokenization services supported Ethereum and Tezos as well. And yes, Genos was correct. Regarding, yay, clap for me, lol. Genos was correct on XLM, but also Taurus is a part of Ripple as well. But so regarding Daniel, you were correct as well, but the article was referring to XLM. But yeah, haha, Stella, you make sense. You make sense. Number 2 coin. Yeah. Now, financial projects. What can I say? Financial projects are, essentially ruling the game. ACH financial project expanding into African nations in 9 countries. Tourists part of the standard Santander Bank and Deutsche Bank and some other banks expanding with XLM. And now, moving on to this news. So the whole Thailand and Ripple XRP news that's been going around inside the crypto space. Well, I have some detailed information regarding that partnership adventure that's going on between Thailand's partnership talks with Ripple and adapting XRP. So we're going to go through that now, basically. So the cryptocurrency landscape. The cryptocurrency landscape is continuously evolving, with various digital assets gaining prominence and adoption across the globe. One of the notable developments in recent times is the increasing interest in Ripple's XRP, particularly among the BRICS nations. Armando, a renowned crypto personality, has recently highlighted Ripple's essentially expanding influence, highlighted Ripple's expanding influence, citing Thailand's potential adoption of XRP as a significant milestone. So, in this article, we're going to be delving into Ripple's growing expansions, the implications of Thailand's interest in XRP, and the broader context of XRP's role within the BRICS nations. On yesterday's live show, you were asking me questions based on BRICS and Ripple, and I give you the facts on it. Now, we'll go through this. So, Ripple's expansion, which is quite bullish, and the previous news was bullish as well. But Ripple's expansion, a brief overview, Ripple's vision and achievements. Ripple has positioned itself as a leader in the financial technology space by providing innovative solutions for cross-border payments. Unlike many other cryptocurrencies that aim to replace traditional financial currencies, Ripple focuses on enhancing efficiency of existing financial systems. Ripple's flagship product, RippleNet, leverages blockchain technology to facilitate real-time, low-cost, and transparent transactions across the globe. With approximately 300 customers, Ripple has established a robust network of financial institutions that uses networks to streamline cross-border payments. 300. The company's software products enable institutions to send money globally in real time, offering significant cost savings and operational efficiencies compared to traditional banking methods. Ripple's technology. Ripple's technology is built on the principles of blockchain, providing decentralized and secure platforms for promising transactions. Key features of Ripple's technology include real-time settlements. Ripple's networks allows for instant settlements of transactions, reducing the time and essentially uncertainty associated with cross-border payments. Low cost by eliminating the intermediaries. By streamlining the transaction process, Ripple significantly reduces the costs associated with international money transfers. Transparencies. Ripple provides an end-to-end visibility of transactions, ensuring that all parties involved have clear and accurate information. Scalability. Ripple's infrastructure is designed to handle high transaction volumes, making it suitable for large financial institutions and global operations. Thailand's interest in XRP. Contents and the significance. Thailand's potential adoption of XRP represents a significant step in Ripple's expansion strategy. As highlighted by the Armando, Thailand has recently applied to join the BRICS globe of a coalition of emerging economics comprising of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This move underscores Thailand's strategic alignments with the economic and technological advancements pursued by the BRICS nations. The decision between Ripple and Thai authorities are centered around the adoption of XRP for facilitating cross-border payments and possibly integrating Ripple's technology into Thailand's financial infrastructure. This development aligns with Ripple's broader mission to enhance global financial systems through its innovative blockchain solutions. Ripple's letter to Thailand authorities. In a recent letter addressed to the Bank of Thailand, Ripple acknowledged the opportunity to comment on the discussions paper titled "The Way Forward for Retail Central Bank Digital Currencies in Thailand" was the title that Ripple used in the document to send a letter to Thailand. The letter highlights Ripple's readiness to assist the Bank of Thailand in redesigning and developing a retail central bank digital currency, CBDC. Ripple's comment that the Bank of Thailand, for its leadership in the CBDC space, emphasized the importance of public and private partnerships driving innovation. The firm expressed its commitment to leveraging its technology to support the bank's initiatives, citing its extensive experience and customer base as evidence of its capabilities. Potential benefits for Thailand. Adapting XRP could offer several benefits for Thailand's financial system, including enhanced efficiency. XRP's real-time settlement capabilities can significantly improve the efficiency of cross-border transactions, reducing delays and enhancing liquidity. Cost reductions. By minimizing the need for intermediaries, Ripple's technology can lower the cost associated with international money transfers, benefiting businesses and customers. Financial in conclusion, Ripple solutions can facilitate greater financial inclusion by providing access to efficient and affordable financial services for underserved populations. Economic integration. Joining BRICS and adapting the advanced financial technologies like XRP can enhance Thailand's integration into the global economy, fostering trade and investments. XRP and the BRICS nations. BRICS interest in cryptocurrencies. The BRICS nations have shown a growing interest in cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology as tools for enhancing their financial systems and achieving greater economic independence. Each member of the country has explored various aspects of digital currencies, from developing national cryptocurrencies to integrating blockchain into their financial infrastructures. The potential adoption of XRP by BRICS nations, including Thailand, is indicative of broader trends towards leveraging advanced technologies to overcome the limitations of traditional financial systems. Ripple's technology offers a compelling solution for addressing the inefficiencies of the high costs associated with cross-border payments, making it an attractive option for BRICS countries. The role of Ripple in the global financial ecosystem. The role of Ripple in this global financial ecosystem. Public and private partnerships. Ripple has consistently emphasized the importance of public and private partnerships in driving financial innovation. By collaborating with central banks, financial institutions, and regulatory bodies, Ripple aims to create more efficient and exclusive global financial systems. Blockchain for financial inclusion. One of Ripple's key missions is to promote financial inclusion by providing access to affordable and efficient financial services. Blockchain technology, with its decentralized nature, offers a unique opportunity to reach underserved populations and integrate themselves into the formal financial systems. Ripple's commitment to transparency. Transparency is a cornerstone of Ripple's approach. The company ensures that all transactions conducted on its networks are traceable and verifiable. Enhancing trust and accountability. This commitment to transparency is crucial for gaining confidence of regulators in terms of financial institutions, and users. Challenges and considerations. Regulatory compliance. Navigating the regulatory landscape is one of the significant challenges for Ripple and other cryptocurrency firms. Ensuring compliance with varying regulatory requirements across different jurisdictions is essential for maintaining legitimacy and fostering adoption. Technological integration. Integrating Ripple's technology into existing financial infrastructures requires careful planning and execution. That is pure facts. Now, there's more to go on, which we'll read, but that part is absolute pure facts. Integrating Ripple's technology into existing financial infrastructures requires careful planning and execution. As I said previously, Ripple needs to be 1 billion% sure before essentially launching XRP Ledger, so on, CBDCs, and all of these banks, all these central banks that are involved with the Bank of International Settlements and the Bank of International Settlements with Ripple and so on. Ripple has to be 1 billion% sure before they launch. So that part that was just said there, 1 million% facts. Regarding integrating Ripple's technology into existing financial infrastructures requires careful planning and execution, which is something that I've said for the longest time. Because if anything goes wrong when Ripple launches and CBDCs are being used, if any bugs are found within the system, any compromisation issues, then we're talking about massive protests, massive havocs, because nobody will have access to their money. That's why what Ripple's trying to take upon themselves is a massive, massive stressful task, which nobody gives them credit for. Changing an entire financial system, you have to be 1 billion% sure. A lot of people don't realize the amount of stress that's on Ripple's shoulders right now. All people care about is just price fluctuations. I've said this previously. If you are creating, essentially, there's a crypto project that's created an app, and people download that app, and there's some bugs and issues. No big deal. Nobody cares. They might lose a few downloads, but they'll fix it with a bug, with some patches and updates and so on, and people start using the app again. But what Ripple's trying to achieve is not just by creating an app for some users or creating a metaverse game or something. It's about or an AI tool. So if ChatGPT goes down, nobody really cares. ChatGPT is down. Oh well, 2 hours later it's back up. Nobody cares. But what Ripple's trying to achieve is changing the entire financial infrastructure. And if people can't have access to their money, they'll stop protesting. Havocs will create it. So many things can go sideways if people can't access their money. But if ChatGPT goes down for 2 hours, nobody cares. If an application that you're using goes down for 4 hours, nobody cares. Nobody's going to protest because their app doesn't work. Nobody's going to protest because ChatGPT doesn't work. But if you can't access your bankings, if you can't access your money in your bank accounts, and it's on the XRP ledger, for example, with these centralized banks, that is going to go very, very south. So I said this previously, what they're trying to achieve, not a lot of people give them credit for. Changing the entire financial system is a excruciating task and extremely stressful. It's bigger than you think. Financial institutions must adapt to new systems and processes which can be complex and resource and essentially intensive. Market competition. The cryptocurrency market is highly competitive. With numerous players vying for dominance, Ripple must continuously innovate and improve its offerings to stay ahead of the competitors and maintain its market position, which is all true as well. They have to. No matter how big you are, you can always fall. Ripple's growing expansions, which they are going to be integrated and so on, but they always have to keep themselves top of the range, which they will. I believe in Ripple's leadership. I definitely do. Ripple's growing expansions, particularly its potential adoption by the Thailand and other BRICS nations, marks a significant milestone in the company's journey. By leveraging its advanced blockchain technology, Ripple aims to revolutionize the global financial system, making its cross-border payments more efficient, cost-effective, and transparent. The discussions between Ripple and Thai authorities have underscored the strategic importance of XRP in the evolving financial landscape. As more countries and financial institutions recognize the benefits of Ripple's solutions, the adoption of XRP is likely to accelerate, further solidifying Ripple's role in the global financial ecosystem. Ripple's commitment to innovation, transparency, and public-private partnerships positions it as a key player in the future of finance. The company must navigate regulatory challenges, ensure seamless technological integrations, and stay ahead of market competition to realize the vision fully. In summary, Ripple's expansion and the potential adoption of XRP by countries like Thailand represents a transformative shift in the world of finance. As the cryptocurrency landscape continues to evolve, Ripple's technology will play a crucial role in shaping a more exclusive and efficient global financial system, which is all facts. So that is extremely bullish as well on that basis of what's happening and what was described by essentially the Thai authorities and their Ripple discussions and so on. But also we have reached, before I say that, let me go to the comment section first. But yeah, that news is extremely bullish, and also the news before regarding Deutsche Bank and Tourist with XLM. But yeah, what they're trying to achieve, not an easy task, but the good thing is we're going into utility now. Totally, that's why it's taking so long for Ripple to get everything right. Facts. Why do you think Judge is taking so long to make a decision, Ripple versus SEC case? Why is the Judge taking so long regarding the case to give a response to? Buying time is what they're doing. Good night, Miles, and the CMF. We'll see you again maybe tomorrow or the night after. Funky brother, see you tomorrow. Not tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow is going to be Tuesday. So, yeah. The live show is going to continue Monday onwards. The live show is going to continue Wednesday onwards because tomorrow I have a lot of things to do and I'm going to be traveling. So the live show should be en route Wednesday. So Tuesday, no live show. So tomorrow, no live show. Wednesday, it should be en route again. But I'll let everyone know inside a Telegram. But yeah. So you told us all this. You've told us all this for time, Miles. Exactly. Let's go, Ian. Miles, have a safe and fruitful journey, brother. Thank you, Funky brother, for the wisdom. Thank you for the nice words, brother. So, on tonight's live show, we talked about a mixture of topics regarding XRP in Thailand. We talked about XLM and essentially Deutsche Bank. We talked about Biden's essentially movements inside the crypto space. We talked about Trump's movement inside the crypto space. Maybe Trump's going to go to that Bitcoin rally. We also talked about Louisiana's new cryptocurrency regulations. We talked about the EU's regulations in terms of cryptocurrencies. We talked about Botswana, Zimbabwe, and 9 other countries and African nations with ACH on tonight's live show as well. We talked about Tom Lee's perspectives in the market space. We talked about Bitcoin Lightning Network's new movements. We talked about the MicroStrategy influence of Bitcoin. We talked about MT Gox is next month going to be when they start essentially refunding people. We talked about the Japanese company resembling MicroStrategy in Japan's market space. We talked about the Tether discontinue regarding to blockchains, and we talked about Robert's perspective on the market space as well. So we have come to the endings of tonight's live show as well. The live show is going to be continuing, not tomorrow, but the day after, most likely, because I am going to be traveling tomorrow. And have a safe trip, Miles. Good night, everyone. Orphan, let's go. See you the next day. I was about to say see you tomorrow, but see you the next day. So we have reached tonight's endings of tonight's live show. I will see everybody the day after. And, once I get to Germany, we'll continue the live show every day like usual again. Yeah. So I'll see everybody the day after. Safe travels, Miles. Thanks for all you do. Good night, day to all CMF. Let's go, Shelly. I will see everybody the day after. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you the day after. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. Also, if you are new, we have a Telegram group as well. The link is in X and on YouTube, depending on where you're watching from. See everybody the day after. CMF, see you the day after. Everybody have a great day or good night, depending on where you're around the world. Good night, all. Troy, let's go. Good night, Miles and family. Safe travels, Miles. Great life. Let's go. Ian, see you tomorrow. I keep on saying see you tomorrow. See you the day after. Fantastic as always. Let's go, Leroy. Take care, Miles. Let's go, Stormy. Happy Pisces. Let's go. I'll see everybody the day after. Everybody have a great day or good night, depending on where you're around the world. CMF, see you the day after.